I've always been here. I've had opportunity to travel all over the world, everywhere. Europe, America, Asia, Australia, Canada. I have been everywhere. But I've always had to come back to my dearly beloved Lagos because I feel the pulse, I feel the spirit, I feel Lagos in my soul. And I could see a Lagos where I was born into a low class family. And it gave me the opportunity to rise to be who I am, to be a professional. And I can say as a legal practitioner, God has blessed me as a professional. In terms of politics, I also have a good history of politics. I've been in and out. In 1995, during the ING, I was the personal assistant to the Minister of Transport and Aviation. And after that, I also became personal assistant to the Minister of Transport and Minister of Power and Steel. So I have that experience way back as a young man. I went back to legal practice, and at a point in time, Babatunde Raji Fashola, as the governor of Lagos State, nominated me, and I was appointed a commissioner in the Lagos State Judicial Service Commission. 4 years of Bab Fashola, and I also spent another 2 years in the Ambode government. So I understand Lagos State government. And more importantly, I'd also served Lagos State. I was a member of the technical committee on building regulations and planning control in Lagos State. And I was the chairman that drafted the law regarding that. And what was the purpose? This is very, very important. It was to ensure that builders in Lagos State complied with planning regulations. They built in accordance with the building control, and they put in place buildings that will be properly in place. It was a fantastic committee. And interestingly, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the man who is here now, as the governor of Lagos State, was a vice chairman of this committee. So I thought and I believe that all of us that were there, we understood what the assignment was. But he has operated an era of collapsing buildings. Buildings have not stopped collapsing in the era of Sanwo-Olu. In the history of Nigeria, there was never, ever, any time a 21-story building came down. But remember, in Ikoyi, it came down. After that, a 7-story building came down, 5-story will come down, 3 building will come down. And the reason why this is happening is that the bureaucracy in Lagos is very, very corrupt. What they ought to do was to supervise, but for them, they just approve, and the man begins to build without getting the proper regulation. They don't even supervise. So we have a governor who has today a legacy of a governor of collapsing building. This is number one. For me, he has also failed in his promise. When he was elected 4 years ago, he said he would solve traffic gridlock in Lagos State. He has done nothing. In his era, the traffic situation has become very, very worse. For me, as a personal experience, I moved through 2 local governments. I live in Lekki. I went to Ekpe. It took me 6 hours. I came back. It took me 7 hours, 13 hours to go and come back. Awuyaya is there. Nothing is happening. The man came in and he said, I'm going to build a 4th mainland bridge. It's still in his mind. He didn't do nothing. It was when we started putting pressure, when we started the electionary campaign, that they said they have signed something, they have signed, there's nothing has happened. They've not turned the salt. Now, Lagos State, let me even go to my own comfort area. I grew up in Lagos Island, and I knew markets. I knew 2 prominent markets in Lagos Island. You have the Jakara market, you have the Sangros market. 2-3 weeks ago, they have started building Sangros. They've started. I was there last week, and they have started already trying to put in place this place. Transportation in Lagos. Look at, they came with this celebration of their monorail. Babajide Sanwo-Olu's monorail was started by Fashola, 8 years. Ambode as governor of Lagos State, 4 years. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is about to spend his own 4 years and go. Now, 16 years. Monorail. Monorail from Tinubu. CMS is supposed to be to Kokomaiko, but they have now adjusted it to Mile 2. Now there was this lavish celebration when the president came in. We are going to start jumping in and out of the rail. The rail is still in his mind because we have no service that we can call the railway service. What has he really done? There is so much money coming into this state. The IGR of Lagos State for the last 5 to 8 years was equal to that of 30 states in Nigeria. There is money here. There's money, and I could remember when Akinyode was there, what he said was, in the tax net, they still have gaps that they can actually fill, and they collect money from the federal government. What have they done to us? We have a state whereby the housing policy is completely egalitarian, it's ostentatious, and it is in the mind of only the rich that can acquire houses in this Lagos state. And what has happened? People have had to go in to Kemberi, to Kokomaiko, to Igwelekpe, to what do they call this? So Ishawo. The Ishawo Road. It was supposed to be a link road to alleviate the suffering of people in the Ikorodu. Nothing has happened. What they did was they destroyed buildings, they paid some people compensation, the place is still abandoned. This government has been a government of abandoned projects. They will start, they will not complete, or they will not start at all. So now, we are in election time. So the Social Democratic Party, we have come as a political party. We are building the party, really, because prior to now, no senator, we don't have this, we don't have that. We are building the party. And the party in its wisdom chose me as the gubernatorial candidate of the party. And I am the leader of the party in this Lagos state. Nobody can take any decision of a germane nature without speaking with me. I am the only one who can talk and who can go anywhere. But now they have started this fake news. They put it everywhere. The SDP is merging with APC. That is only in their mind. We can never, ever merge with APC. We represent something totally different. For us, it is a failure government with people who have failed. Apart from the regime of Fashola 8 years, everybody was a total failure. This man is the worst that they have ever had. What is this frenzy that he has to tell people that we have joined them? Let him bring the document out. Because we are going to sue him. When he leaves that office, we will sue him for his lies. Why is he so desperate? If they lost the election, the presidential election, it was not our problem. We had debates. He never participated. First debate, he did not come. Second debate, he did not come. He has not spoken to the people. He went all around the place with Emiloko. While we are having debates in, what do they call it, in Victoria Island, he was in Chatham House in London to do what? At taxpayers' expense. But for him now, what is exciting to them now is the SDP. Why will we join the APC? We will never, ever. We will not join them. We are not going to have a working arrangement with them. We are going into this election as SDP, Social Democratic Party. Moshood Kashimawu Abiola was the presidential candidate of the party. Babagana Kingibe
was the running mate.
Oh, my friend. And it was up, 93. But Mr. Opeyemi Lokan says his own was up. Of course, we had to ask him up to do what? Or to recalibrate an economy where we don't have money? I've not seen Naira in the last 7 days. I've not seen in the note. I don't have it in my pocket. I can't move. Nothing is happening in this country. We are being traumatized, and this man knows that he's on the way out of Lagos house. Why shouldn't he just pack his things and get out?
Thank you very much, Chief Olakunle Uthman. Well, I've had reasons to observe you from a distance, and I've had opportunity to sit down with you and engage you. And I think I must say this clearly: your ability to stand on what you believe in seems to be something that follows you everywhere. Now, let's quickly say this: you've been a part of this ACN administration. You were with Governor Babatunde Fashola as a commissioner in the Judicial Service Commission. You were also with Governor Ambode at some point. Now, I want to ask you, what changed between the time you were with those people? You were part of whatever success you felt former Governor Fashola got in Lagos. So what changed? Now, it looks like it's a structure, or is a line with, in your own opinion, people that don't have good plans for Lagos. But you were part of these people for a long time.
Listen to me. You have what they call a technocrat and a bureaucrat. Do you understand? It was a non-cabinet appointment that was not responsible for policy formulation or policy making in terms of the state in its entirety. The Judicial Service Commission is a commission that is put in place solely to deal with the affairs of judges. It's not a contract awarding commission. It consists by law. It's a constitutional provision. It consists by law of people who are fit and proper persons who can look at the judiciary in terms of its appointment, remuneration, conditions of service. Outside that, there was no responsibilities. Now, when the question of being part of the planning regulation committee, this is a job that will involve technocrats. the art architects coming from University of Lagos. Professor Kele was there. Adediro came in from physical planning. Solomon Majekodumi was there. Brigadier General Rees was also there. What BRF tried to do then was to bring in place cerebral personalities, people who he felt had the capacity and who could also connect with the state. And we did what we had to do. So it had nothing to do with the administration of the state. Now, even as a private citizen, if you Google Kunle Uthman, you see the amount of work that I have done. During the Ambode regime, it was part of my pleasure to point out to them, because then I was the secretary of Eco Foundation. Eco Foundation is a foundation of indigenous of Lagos State, and as at that time, Professor Imran Smith, Professor S.A., and he was the chairman. I was the secretary. Lawa Pedro, as at that time, was the legal advisor, but he left. They decimated our organization by threatening everybody, and the organization became lukewarm. But I continued. After the NSAS issue, the question was who ordered the shooting? And I was one person who went on Jimmy Disu and to tell the whole world that from the facts before the committee, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu ordered that shooting.
We'll come to that.
Yes, please.
Let me track back to all of the issues in Lagos SDP. Just yesterday, that's about 4 days to the governorship election, your running mates, Mrs. Abeni Anima Shaun and her supporters dumped the SDP and crossed to the APC. I mean, and you had to address a world press conference yesterday where you stated emphatically that you are not in any position negotiating to align or form alliance or collapse your structure for the APC. In January this year, the former chairman of the SDP in Lagos also, Mr. Dabira Oluwadeyinka, also left the SDP to join Jandor in the PDP. What exactly is going on with the structure of SDP in Lagos? Your running mate left. The former chairman had also left. Where is SDP in Lagos 3 days to the governorship election?
The running mate, you say left with supporters. She left with no soul. Not one person.
As a deputy governorship candidate?
Can you hold on, please? If you can hold on, you will understand much more better. And you will appreciate the fact that it is good riddance to bad rubbish. Now, the selection of the Morenike, Abeni, Anima Shaun, the Olori Oba of Ekpe, was an act of providence. There's a person who I know, Tinu Abiola. That was the wife of MQ Abiola in this Aromolaro saga. Certain things we were looking for. The first person was we wanted somebody from Ekpe. And the reason for Ekpe was we believed that the Ekpe people had enough score to settle with this government. So whoever comes there from Ekpe will give you numbers. A political asset. Number two, we wanted a very young person. Young lady we wanted who will compliment me, and necessarily she should be a Christian. Preferably from RCCG, because we felt that they had the numbers when it comes to their population in Lagos. And when Olori was contacted, the lady I earlier mentioned contacted the Olori. And when Olori was contacted, she said to us, the woman told me her daughter, that she has a young daughter who is in her early 30s, will be a perfect choice. This was the situation. Then we called Olori. Can we speak to your daughter? She said her daughter just got appointment into the Lagos State Ministry of Justice. That if she took up that appointment, she will lose it. Then she will be deputy governor. Telephone conversation. Then I recall that the lady who is her friend should be almost 70 years old. So in my mind, what am I going to do with this 70-year-old woman? I said to her, I'm coming to see you. Then I went to Ekpe. And when I got to Ekpe, the impression I also got was an elderly person who will be 65 or there. And we spoke. And she said to me, I said, Mama, you can't be deputy governor because you don't have the stamina, you don't have the flair. We're looking for a young person. Then she said, no, I am going to do it. I said, why will you do it? She said, because my son, our son, contested for local government chairman in Ekpe, and he was going to win. When the sister came out, the sister from another mother came out, and the king, in his wisdom, supported the sister, and the boy was denied the opportunity. She said, "Oh, Damiloro, Kabiesi Damiloro, Emina Awa son fun pada." I said, Mama, politics is not a place for vendetta. This is internal in your house. It's got nothing to do with us. We're looking for somebody who can win votes. We did our further investigations. We were told, the woman, she's popular. She's in this church, and she's in that church. And we made her to realize that we are not going to go into any politics of acrimony against your husband. Right? And her name was forwarded to INEC. Huh? In INEC's wisdom, they accepted her name. And before her name was forwarded, she was asked, did you seek the consent of your husband? And she said, yes, she did. The man said, when she was going to join SDP, Molo join SDP, or the king said,
So there was it was not an emphatic position.
God bless you. And when the nomination was made, she said she went back to him. I'm not going to be deputy governor. The king said, Now, when the announcement was made, there's this platform they have in Lagos where all the officials of Lagos state government, they are there. It's called Lagos Focus, administered by one Honorable Fagbodun, who is a resident in Ekpe. The news broke there that Olori Anima Shah has joined SDP. Oh, it was a problem. The whole state came down. The Oba was made to address a press conference. Olori Oleshe, pressure she was getting, she cannot use Anima Shah for the purpose of the campaign. His name is Fashui. He said the campaign poster is going to at one point say Anima Shah Fashui. At one point say Fashui Anima Shah. Say, Mama, what is this problem you are giving us? Huh? And then the INEC window opened. The INEC window opened for us to be able to make a change, a substitution. And we had our substitution. To get her was a problem. Even the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Silas Ailani, called her. Mama, we have 3-4 days. Can you join us so that we can do what we have to do? That the KBC will not allow her to leave the palace. She couldn't come out. Because she did not come out, the window closed. So we were stuck with this mama to continue. Because me, I call her mama, she's much older than myself. But she never ever at any point in time contributed 1 naira. If she has any contrary proof, she can send it across to this political party, number one. Number two, she never participated in any campaign.
And she was the running mate.
Oh, what do we do if we had a running mate that became a political burden?
So what would have happened if she becomes the deputy governor?
No, she wouldn't have become deputy governor, because what we would have done if we had won the election, we would have gotten rid of her as quickly as we could.
And how political is that?
Oh, it's political because she never participated in anything. So when this issue also came up, now you see in INEC, there are regulations. I'm sure you're aware. She cannot go out. The woman she did not make legal consultation. You can't just go out as deputy gubernatorial candidate in an election that is scheduled to take place. Say, I'm no longer going to be deputy governor. No. Maybe she wants to be APC person, but she will remain by INEC laws deputy governor. Because there are two circumstances that she can remove herself. Circumstance number one is in case of death. If she died, but we know she's not dead, she's alive. Huh? So that contingency is
out.
Circumstance number two is insanity.
She's sane.
She's sane. So all this one she's doing is just political drama between herself and the frenzied APC government that will not mind their own business. They will continue to interfere in SDP business. We'll go left is APC. We'll go right is APC. They are losing election. Instead of them to consider how they can win, they are putting fake news into the system. How do you have a political party?
Chief Usman,
yes, sir.
There was a World Press Conference that was addressed. And in that, it was said that 10 political parties have collapsed the structure to endorse the second-term agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And SDP, your party, was named as part of those people. It's 3 days to the governorship election. I'm coming. It's 3 days to the governorship election in Lagos. Your party, the SDP, are you still in the race for the governorship of Lagos, or it is just you pushing this agenda?
My friend, you have asked too many questions that are convoluted into one simple question. The answer is this. Let me start with the first half of your question, which was what now? The question of, what did you say now?
You said there was a press conference.
By who?
Some political parties, 10 of them.
Okay, the 10 of people, you have to oblige me. The Lagos state government will oblige me, the people who represented SDP in this press conference. This is number one. Number two, they will oblige us their position in SDP. this man is this in SDP. This man, they will oblige us. Then they will also oblige us a copy of the agreement that they signed with that. Because I've spoken with the National Secretary of the party, Dr. Oluwagunloye. I'm sure you know him. Yeah. Very reputable, responsible person.
He's from Ondo State.
I've also spoken with the chairman of the party. They said they are not aware of this nonsense. They are not aware, and nobody in this state can sign anything without my authorization. Because for all intents and purposes, I'm the leader of the Social Democratic Party here, because I'm the gubernatorial candidate who's flying the flag of the party. So who signed? Who?
Okay, let's leave that aside.
You can't leave it. Because as at the time we asked this Sanwo-Olu government, what has it cost you to put in the monorail? No answer. The Freedom of Information Bill makes it mandatory for them to provide answers. If there were people in SDP who signed, who were these people, what was their capacity? Number two, where is the memorandum of understanding between them and SDP? And I'm telling you, by the loss of political parties in this country, nobody can compromise the party without my consent, tacit or otherwise. So who are these people? And I'm telling you, it is fake news, it is wrong, it is a bundle of lies that have been put in place by this APC to decimate the SDP, and it is absolutely irresponsible.
Okay, now before we come to what I intend
to do, Olori, nobody showed you Olori going there with anybody. There were two. No, I need to sort it out. There were two pictures that we saw. There was one, despite the fact that she's the queen or the king's wife, she had her hair bare. Her hair was bare. She was there. There was no voice. And the second one was the one where she wore skirt and blouse. I don't know where Olori will be jumping around, and they said it took place in their secretariat. Who were the people that went to her husband, and that's what happened. Nobody went there. See me as the threat. Because, well, first and foremost, debate number one, Jandor was there, I was there, the Labour guy was there, Braithwaite was there, Duarte was there. APC, nowhere to be found. Debate number, there were some questions that I will have asked him. And I'm not surprised about the way a man is behaving, because Sanwo-Olu himself is not an indigene of this state. So they should stop clamoring that somebody is from somewhere. He is also not from here. Okay. He's from Ijebu-Mushi.
We'll come to that conversation.
No, let me make my conversation.
I'll come to Chief Uthman. We'll come to that conversation.
The same thing applies to his deputy. The deputy is also a prince of Elkoro in Ogun State.
We'll come to that. Your party, the SDP, seems to be gaining some huge momentum.
Of course.
Have 2 senators now. Yes. They have about 4 or 5 House of Representatives
members. Thank you very much, my friend.
And the way you are right now, what exactly are the prospects of your party? And when we come back, you tell us what are the growth that your party is getting. And funny enough, they didn't win about that.
Mrs. Rivka Tesere, I think she was here. Constituency 01. We have Keru, who is in Kosofe DS, to develop the party in that axis. We have Al Maruf, gentleman, good man, good religion. Kunle Koshile. Kunle Koshile was the one whose mother introduced me to Olori. He's the one representing us in Ikeja constituency 01. Going to Ekpe, we have Olatunji, very dynamic human being who is also ready to contest this election. If you go towards Amuwadofin, the man who is there is Fashuyi. Fashuyi is ready to win this election. He's done enough because he has contested primaries before and he lost. And the person who he lost to, I think, is one lady who is not in the House of Assembly now. She's been voted, I can't remember her name, Mulika somebody. Do you understand? Yeah. Fashu is ready to win this election. We have not brought in people to campaign everywhere. We have a lady in Janet Francis in Alimo Shaw. They are all campaigning. But the beautiful thing about the Social Democratic Party is this. We are building our party. Structures. We believe that even if we are not that lucky in this election, we will still continue to participate in government from the position of advising them and a tacit opposition. But we will build our party. So this is the reason why this frenzy of Jandor is my friend. Is that the friendship emanated from the debates. Because political ideologies. We've tried to create a world. Others will take our own decision. But for us, will function like us. But what never ever join APC in this particular.
What you think governance should be about? You talked about the amount of money that Lagos generates. You also put it side by side the amount of money that, Lagos government, what exactly is the state of the roads, infrastructures, transport? I mean, everything seems priority. Your first 100 days, what would you get in and get sorted immediately?
I will do one calendar year. And what he promised was it will solve the traffic gridlock in Lagos. And you and I of 9. It failed there. So because me, I will strive for an A1 in the same. What I will do, number one, I'm going to reform LASMA. Because the organization has conceived, it's a good organization. When it started, it was a good organization. But it has become a very, very corrupt organization. People fear last road. So I need to get into the head of the people that are there. The consequences of doing that. I will now. Now there are certain parts of Lagos that they are 22 hours traffic. The people always move. VGC, Awoyaya, towards Badagry, you have Kemberi there, you have satellite, it's traffic. So that means that we need to think of a LASMA that will run a shift system. A shift system of those at 8, so that we have a continuous traffic management system. Apart from that, we must commend the Lagos state government in this thing that they did, because we have more traffic. If you pass the traffic, the thing will catch your plate number and they will take. It's only in Nigeria that you're going to see traffic lights and you have a collection of traffic enforcers on the same road. It doesn't make sense. It's wasted labor. So for me, I'm going to employ more. One. Number two, we are also going to educate the people in Lagos state, the commuters, the drivers, that certain things are wrong and they are not done in other civilized countries. You find drivers driving against traffic. You find health care system in Lagos is a total disaster. If you remember this train crash that occurred, you will discover that they put tents out where they did the initial admission of these people. It is wrong. Because we need to have in our system hospitals that can deal with emergencies. Number one. We also need to establish women maternity hospital that will cater for mother and child. There when I was the interim national government. And because I did a lot of maritime work also, transport, we are going to put people onto the water. Remember Jack Conde, so many years ago, there was Babakekere Ferry, there was Tafaji. So for you to move from CMS to China mass transit ferry system that could move a large volume of people from CMS, move them to Ikorodu, there's decongest the road. And this nonsense that ought to have is a multi-rail system. The multi-rail system, boss, you need a transport. This governor did nothing about that. We also are going to look at agriculture. Can actually be on the surface. This catfish that we all live as pepper soup, small and medium enterprise can establish that JJ Okocha as a Nigerian flag of this country international, rather than Akim Olajuwon, who was in basketball. We have people everywhere. So we have to allow our markets. This is where we have our mothers. The poor, this is a small market, you give it to state. When money comes to the local government in the state, we are not going to intermeddle with this money. The money goes to the local government, is populous to charge that. It's a local government. Opposite, why not? It's wrong. So to have Capac A business district. I have never seen our independent Tinubu from and set his market. This small market for more than 10 years. This government has an ostentatious mentality.
To engage man is the gubernatorial candidate here once, but a lot has changed within that period and now. So we're opening up the conversation. Please, when you're calling, make it very quick, be civil, just your name and straight to.
Good evening, Mr. Opeyemi.
You're welcome.
So I really about the gentleman that is making the political analysis. Is it the governorship candidate for SDP?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
My friend, good evening. How are you?
Yes, I really enjoy your political analysis and everything.
Thank you very much.
I'll just advise your party. So in Agege, I'm living in Agege. I don't know the representative of your party as the constituency 01 and constituency 02. So that is number one. Number two, I will advise your party that they should not form alliance with any other party. We see your performance in the national state. So if the party continue, even without winning state at the state level or winning at the constituency level, the party should continue. At the end of the day, they will spread to other states at the state level and the local government level.
Thank you.
So I really commend the efforts of your party in Nasarawa, and I wish them best of luck. But now, the atmosphere is conducive for APC in Lagos State. If your party lose the governorship, if you continue and continue trying, I wish them best of luck.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you very much, Olakunle. 0913-600-0410. We'll pick the calls, then you respond to some of the observations that would come in. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Your name and where you calling from? Please put down the volume of your radio set.
Oh, thank you. I'm calling from Otta, Ogun State. My name is Oba.
Okay, Oba from Otta. Straight to the point.
Thank you very much. You see, talking about the revenue generated by Lagos State government and the allocation. Now, for about 24 years now, I tell you, if a reasonable government is there or was there, by now should have taken up Lagos State so much that you can now find any area that is underdeveloped. Imagine everything they have been doing in Lagos State. Let me start with the example of bridge now. Third mainland bridge. How many years does it take the government to build it? They have spent 24 years. Ikeja bridge now has been there for more than 3 years. All right. Now they intentionally use transport to slow down the traffic so that they can take the motorists to go through what's it called? BRT lane, so that they can arrest them. Now they are giving the police, Lagos police, the leverage to take advantage of the people. Any meeting now they charge you 100,000 naira.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm coming. Just about 3 days ago, I was passing.
You have just 10 seconds more.
Yes, so our police now was there at that Air Force Base gate, and they were passing the yellow bus through the BRT gate, and I follow immediately to shoot my head. They arrested me. You are getting me like this is what this Lagos State APC government have been doing to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, if you would like to respond to that.
I'd like to respond first and foremost. Thank you for your question. The last man, the BRT lane is a misconception. It is wrong, and it doesn't happen anywhere in the world. What they need to have is a bus lane, not a BRT lane for specialized type of buses. Because on the Korodu corridor, for example, you see there is no traffic in that BRT lane. There is huge traffic on both sides of the road, and the last man in that area, what they do is they wait for you to get impatient and enter that road, and they put some things on your road in front of your car you cannot move. They take you somewhere in Oshodi. You never ever pay that money to government. But between that place and the other point, they get you to go to an ATM machine, they withdraw money, they put it in their pocket. So I think we should do a kind of reformation. We have certain type of buses. A bus that is not going to stop to carry traffic, to carry passengers on the road, should have access to this BRT lane. So it's a passenger's bus that moves a certain volume of traffic. You can regularize it. It can be Danfo. It can be some of these other big buses. But it cannot be for just this number of buses to construct a road and traffic does not move. So I believe.
Hello. Sorry. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Just 1 minute.
Thank you. In fact, he was correct. That man was correct about this, what do they call it? These people that collect money. Not VIO, the other one.
Last man.
Last man. Is it last man? No, the road safety.
Okay.
Yes, they are at this Badagry road. So there's one man that normally collects money from them. When you see them, they are not doing anything. They beg me to sell my car because they are evil. They are evil people. They have somebody that is collecting money for them. When they see a car that is flashy and you are alone inside it, they will gather as if they have seen an armed robber. Those people are armed robbers themselves. And if you see Agbero, if you see the way they treat down for people, all of them will carry one road. They will be hitting motor. People inside will be shaking. They will cost. If you don't pay me 100, you are in trouble. So these Agbero, they are now multitude. They are in legion. So,
Thank you.
God bless you, my brother. SVP. God
Thank
bless
you very much.
You see,
I'm coming. You will answer this with your response. There's one particular question I've always asked every governorship candidate that come here, and that's the issue of Agbero in Lagos. Can you quickly address this issue? If you get into office, what would be your priority as regards curbing this menace and disgraceful attitude of these people on the road?
No, I'll ban it. Executive Order 02, I'll ban Agberos on the road. And whoever functions an Agbero and is not supposed to there will go for community service. I won't send him to jail because he's just a hungry man that the system is using to corrupt itself. So I won't send him to jail. If you're an Agbero, we'll catch you where you shouldn't be, extorting money from people, we will take you, you go and render community service. You will go to the farm. They are going to be part of a development system and you'll be there until we can reform you mentally. And by the time you come out of that place, we'll give you something.
Marcos, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name is Simmons. I'm calling you from right now. I'm in Ikeja.
Okay, straight to the point.
Yes. See, Mr. Opeyemi, all I have to say to your guest is thank you. Sincerely, thank you, sir. This man really understands what is called politics and see, he understands Lagos. He understands Lagos and understands Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I can say to you.
Straight to the point. 0913-600-0440. More calls. Prince Wise, just 1 minute. Straight to the point.
Okay, I will go to the point as you said. Thank you for my guest in the studio. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
I think I know you are part of the Fasola cabinet. With me, as it is today, you are part of development of Lagos. But now, your deputy is no more with you. Your chairman self is no more with you. How can you make it? That is number one. Number two, I want to thank Mr. Opeyemi for inviting you to the studio. Because when you talk of Lagos today, I never see your jingle, I never see your poster, and you want to become governor of Lagos State. That's something that is impossible. Let us say the fact. You talk very well, but when can't you done a party that you render your own service to Lagos?
Thank you, Prince Wise.
Can you win the election?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
First and foremost, I am sure this man just came into the conversation. He has not been following.
Okay.
So he's asking questions like an APC person with an APC mentality. To start with, I think I've dealt with this issue of deputy governor. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's not an issue. She's a political baggage. She brought nothing to the party, and her exit from the party is good riddance to bad rubbish. I won't talk about this woman anymore. The chairman who is celebrating, she went alone. When we saw the photograph, we zoomed it, we could only find 2 or 3 people that is with her. We have a system that is functional. He wants to see posters everywhere. We are not Sanwo-Olu. We don't have that kind of money to put posters everywhere. If he goes to the areas where we have candidates for this election, even as far as Ekpe, as far as Badagry, he goes to Ikorodu. If he opens his eyes, he's going to see posters. But this election is not about posters. This election is about robust campaign. Say to the people your mandate. I've come into this studio now. I've been able to say I will do A, B, and C for my people. And I've also said in my introductory statement, the SDP is not desperate. This is very important. We're going to go into this election believing it's a level playing field. And we are begging now the APC to please mind their own business and not disturb us anymore. Now there's a lot that is going on in the state. The state is in a very, very bad situation. They are playing tribal politics. Everybody is saying this party is Igbo party, this one is Yoruba party, this one is Hausa party. It doesn't augur well for our democracy. Because we have all lived together as brothers and sisters. If they lost in the polls at the last election, they should go and re-examine themselves. It was not a tribal issue. It was an issue that certain people felt that their political godfather was not a fit and proper person to rule, and they voted against him. The young people did that, and quite a lot of people. So what they should be doing now is sitting down and properly analyzing what went wrong. But this question of The Igbo people will vote against APC. No, we shouldn't do that. We have grown too much as a people. We have intermarried. What happens to a Yoruba man that has an Igbo wife when the whole place becomes a problem? Is he going to keep her under the bed? We have intermarried. Our friendship is not built on tribe. It's not built on religion. Muslims marry Christians. Christians marry Muslims. It's a very, very dynamic state. And people should also remember that Lagos State is the business hub of this Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this frenzy, this determination to rule at all points, we are going into this election believing that we have a 50-50 chance. If we win, may Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be praised. If we don't win, we are not going to disintegrate. We will now continue to build our party for the next 4 years, and then we will now have governor. In some states, we have senators, we have House of Representative members, and we will have also worked harder to ensure that we have a good party, a beautiful party. We will develop our manifesto. We are not like them. We are not like them. This government has been in place for 4 years. The man is not bound to go back for 4 years. Fashola spent 8 years. They removed Ambode on their own 4 years. So the people can also come together and remove this Sanwo-Olu. Let him go back to his place in Ijebu-Imushi and go and do something else.
Thank you very much. Well, in case you're just tuning in, I must admit that you've missed a lot. But I've been speaking with the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Lagos. That's Chief TAOFEEK Olakunle Uthman. He's making his second appearance on the show. The first was on ballot 23. And once again, I hope you've been able to pick as much as you think you need for information. His party will be on the ballot on Saturday, all things being equal. I want to specially thank you, Chief Uthman, for joining us in the studio today.
It's always a pleasure to come here, man.
Okay, and that's the size of the package. God willing, tomorrow is Wednesday. On ballot 23, we keep the conversation going. Don't forget, on Saturday, Lagosians will go back to the polls to choose who governs them and who legislate on their behalf in the state houses of assembly. Vote and don't fight. And don't forget that you need to throw away your tribal sentiment, you need to throw away your religious sentiment, and vote based on competence, based on character and capability. My name is Opeyemi Akinyode. God willing, I'll be back with you tomorrow, 4 to 5:30 p.m. on ballot 23.
As a people with one song.